Alright, hello, good morning everyone. I'm back again with class 10 mathematics, and today we will be discussing the next topic of quadratic equation, which is completing the square and deriving quadratic formula. Three topics we have already studied, that is to identify a quadratic equation, to find the variable using the roots of the equation, to find the roots using factorization method. And the last method in the algebraic part of this topic is this. So this is video number 3, chapter number 4, and the topic is quadratic equations. Now the topic, if you would see it written on the board, is completing the square and deriving quadratic formula. Now what does that mean? Let me tell you this, that completing the square method was one specific method as part of finding the roots of the quadratic equation, but this part of that chapter has been removed from your syllabus, to be very clear. Completing the square is removed from the syllabus, so you are not going to get any question directly as to complete the square and find the roots of the given quadratic equation. No. So this is, make it very clear. Then why have I taken it up? The question is, why have I taken it up and then discussing it? Because this is a very important part of learning to understand the quadratic formula, which is the part that you are going to use for solving the question. Once you understand completing the square method, because this is something which is relatable, something which you have learned in your previous class, something which you can very quickly identify with. So this is completing the square method. Once you understand this method, understanding the derivation of quadratic formula will become easy, and then solving the questions also based on quadratic formula will be easy. So that's the whole purpose of explaining completing the square method. Otherwise, this is completely removed from the syllabus. So that is why I am just taking up one question, and then I will use this method to derive the quadratic formula. So otherwise you would have little difficulty understanding it. This is my presumption, maybe you people are more intelligent than that, but I assume it that way, because understanding numerical things are always easier than understanding the algebraic part. So that is my belief. I don't, you all may always change my belief, but then this is how I understand. So I have started by derivation of completing the square method, then I will use this method to derive quadratic formula. So now let us quickly understand what is the meaning of completing the square. Now when I talk about a square here, what am I talking about? Now in terms of quadratic equation, completing the square means such that it is a complete square binomial. For example, when I write a plus b whole square, this is a complete square. That means the two factors are equal. So this is a complete square, and you know that to make a complete square identity, be it in the form of a plus b or in the form of a minus b. Now this is what is called complete square. That is, the two factors are equal. The two factors of the equation are equal. So this is complete square. Now to complete this square, you know that what is it that we require? We require three terms, where two of the terms are perfect square, and the third term, which is the middle term, is 2 times the product of a and b, the first and the second terms. So you know that if I can write it, if I write any equation in this form, a square plus 2ab plus b square equal to 0, say. So then this is a complete square. Square meaning that this equation has two equal factors in the form of a plus b into a plus b. So now many a times we have seen that sometimes the three term expressions. Now here in quadratic equation also, you will see that we always have, mostly we have three terms in a quadratic equation. So if we have these three terms, even if we do not have them, we know how to equate it. If there are only two terms, we can directly equate and get the conjugates as the factors. But if there are three terms and these are not in perfect square, like If you see this equation 2x squared plus 10x plus 3, here we have maximum, we have only one perfect square, which I can write it as root 2x the whole square. Now this is one term which I can write as perfect square, but then this expression does not fall under the category of a square plus 2ab plus b square. Therefore, I have to complete this square and then find its roots. That is the question. Complete the square and find the roots of the given equation. Now, for very obvious reason, we know that if it is a perfect square, it will, the both of the roots of the equation will be same. But let me first explain the method which I have taken up. Now, completing the square means I have to express the given term in the form of a complete square, in the form of an equation which has two equal factors. Now, how can I do it? So for doing, how can we do it? For that only we have got few steps to follow, and then using those steps we can reduce the equation to a complete square and hence derive its solution. So let us see what are the steps that we need to follow. As I told you in the previous video, that we get two types of equation, one whose highest power of the variable is 1 and one which is not 1. Now, for completing the square, it is very necessary that we reduce the highest power of the variable to 1. Okay, when I say very necessary, for simplification of calculation. Those of you who know other methods can definitely adapt to other methods. I know there are other methods also which exist. So those of you who wish to follow other methods, you have complete freedom to follow it. For ease of simplification, I am telling that the methods that we follow, the steps that we follow is that first thing is reduce the highest power of the coefficient of the highest power of the variable to 1. Now for doing it, what can we do? We divide the entire equation by the coefficient of x square. If this is not 1, please. So if it is 1, you can follow straight away. If it is not 1, then this is the method that we follow. So if I divide this entire equation by 2, something which you can see here, then we see that 2 divided by 2 is x square plus 10 by 2 is 5x plus 3 by 2 equal to 0. This is my equation. Now my coefficient of x square is 1. What is the next step? First step, divide the equation by coefficient of x square if there is any. First step. Second step, transpose the constant term to RHS. The methods that we are taking to complete this square. Transpose the constant term to RHS. So 3 by 2 is transposed to RHS as minus 3 by 2. Now express the equation. Now you will see that on LHS there are 2 terms left. So these 2 terms which are left, we have to always take the first term as a square, the second term as 2ab. So see, now you see that in the rough space I have written this. A square equal to x square, so a equal to x. 2ab equal to 5x. This. The first term is always the a square term, the middle term is always 2ab. And now to complete the square, we know that we require a third term which is b square. So we are now looking for the value of b which will complete the square of LHS. So now to find the value of b, what do? We know a is equal to x and 2ab is 5x. So now in place of a, substitute x because you get it from here. So 2x into b equal to 5x. So 2b is equal to 5. b is equal to 5 by 2. Now I have got the value of b. And on LHS, to complete the square, see you have a square, you have 2ab. What more we need to complete the square? To get it in this form, a square plus 2ab plus b square. We need a b square term. So this, because 2ab is 5x, from here I get b is equal to 5 by 2. So let us take b square as 5 by 2 square. Now that b square term you add on both sides of the equality. You know it balances the equation, because by the method of transposition that we know that we can add a constant value on both sides of equality. So we can add 5 by 2 whole square on both sides. So I have added 5 by 2 square here and 5 by 2 square on RHS. So now my this LHS has become a square plus 2ab plus b square. So on LHS I have the complete square terms where a is equal to x and b is equal to 5 by 2. So I can write it as a plus b whole square. So my LHS now is x plus 5 by 2 whole square. Now I am going to simplify RHS. So 5 by 2 whole square is 25 by 4. I will simplify only RHS. So there I will take LCM 4. Then this becomes minus 6 plus 25 by 4, which comes up to 19 by 4. Now I have come to this equation that x plus 5 by 2 whole square is equal to 19 by 4. Now take square roots on both sides. When we take square roots on both sides, this being a perfect square, this will come out as x plus 5 by 2. But on RHS, we know that whenever we take square root, we take always plus minus both sides. So here we take plus minus under the root 19 by 4. So now x is equal to, I transpose 5 by 2 because I am looking for the value of x. So I transpose 5 by 2 on RHS, which gets x equal to minus 5 by 2 plus minus, because 4 is a perfect square, it will come out of the square side to become 2. So now that will be plus minus under the root 19 by 2. So this is, I have kept it still here, but then in the next equation to follow. So the two values of x now which I will get, one is alpha, 2 zeros, alpha is minus 5 by 2 plus root under 19 by 2. So minus 5 by 2 plus root under 19 by 2, which is minus 5 plus root 19 by 2, and beta is minus 5 by 2 minus root under 19 by 2, which is minus 5 minus root 19 by 2. So these are the two values of x, or two zeros of the quadratic equation by completing the square. So on LHS, we complete the square first by finding out the value of b using the first term as a square and the second term as 2ab. So what is the value of b I got? This way we can derive, get the value of b. Your LHS is complete, equate with RHS, whatever value you get the zeros like this. Now I am going to use the same method to derive the quadratic formula. Now my first general equation, what is the general equation of a quadratic? What is the general quadratic equation? So it is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Now something which I need to do is, I have to first reduce the coefficient of x square to 1. So I am dividing the entire equation by a. It comes up to this form. Then the second step was to transpose the constant term to RHS. So I transpose constant term to RHS, which became minus c by a. On left hand side, my first term is x a square always. The second term is 2ab. So I have taken a square as x square. Here I am comparing it with this equation, a square plus 2ab plus b square, because I already have small a and b in the question. So my a square is x square, so a is equal to x. 2ab is b by ax. For substitute value of a here, so x, 2x into b is b by ax. So b is equal to bx by 2x into a, x and x cancels. So the value of b which you get is b by 2a, and b square is b by 2a whole square. Now now we have got to add this b square on LHS and RHS both to complete the square on LHS. So here we get x square plus b by ax plus b by 2a square added here and added on RHS also. Now simplify. So on LHS we have a square, 2ab and b square. So this is x plus b by 2a whole square. This on simplification we get b square by 4a square. This I have taken the LCM. It comes as minus 4ac plus b square by 4a square. Now again the same, take the square root. So on taking the square root, what do I get? X plus b by 2a is equal to plus minus under the root of b square minus 4ac by 4a square. So this, because the denominator is a perfect square of 2a, so it comes out as 2a, and under the root remains as b square minus 4ac. I have only rearranged the terms, please see that. So now your x is equal to minus b by 2a plus minus under the root b square minus 4a square by 2a. So alpha and beta, the two roots are, one will be with plus sign, the other one will be with minus sign. So this is what is called the quadratic formula. The resulting expression which you get is called a quadratic formula. And you check something, that the entire RHS are only the coefficients of x and the coefficient and the constant term. It does not contain any variable. So this is what is called as quadratic formula, or it is also known as the Sridharacharya's rule. It's called Sridharacharya's rule, where we get as x equal to minus b plus minus root under b square minus 4ac by 2a. This is called the quadratic formula or the Sridharacharya's rule. Now if you check this value x, this is minus plus minus under the root b square minus 4ac by 2a. This term under the root b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant. The term used is discriminant for it and is denoted by capital D. Under the root of b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant of any equation. This b square, not under root. This b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant of the equation. What is the role of the discriminant? Now certain things you know about under the root is that if there is under the root 0, it has no value, remains 0. If there is under the root positive term, value can be rational and irrational. Value can be rational or irrational, isn't it? If there is under the root any positive value, positive term, for example, say I write under the root plus 4 or under the root plus 5. Now this is rational, this is irrational. So when you simplify, this value you will get, some value you will get. So you may get under the root rational or irrational. And then there is also a third thing which is under the root negative term. For example, say under the root minus 7. Now have we come across such number as under the root minus 7? Under the root of negative term will never exist. This you know. Why it doesn't exist? Because suppose if I say under the root of minus 7 is equal to x, when you square it, you get x square equal to minus 7. Now, you know from your knowledge that square of any number can never be negative. Square of any number is never negative, it is always positive. Therefore, if you get under the root any negative value, that means it is not real. We say it is not real because such numbers do not exist. Well, here I can say it does not exist, but when you go to a higher class, you will know that such type of numbers are called complex numbers, which you will again elaborately learn about it later. But for the time being, we will say it is not real. Therefore, because there is a root under the root value in the solution, because you have an under the root value in the solution, see there are three different results you can derive depending upon the value of the discriminant. So what are those three different values? Just now we discussed that the value of b can be equal to 0. If it is 0, what is x equal to? It is always equal to minus b by 2 and there is no other value. So for both cases alpha and beta, you will only get minus b by 2a because this is going to be 0 anyways. So that means when the value of d is 0, we may say that roots are equal. Alpha and beta both is equal to minus b by 2a. Similarly, when d is greater than 0, that means it is positive. So if it is positive, then you will get minus b by 2a plus minus some value. Some positive value, rational or irrational, depends. So that means the roots will be different, because when you will add a rational term and when you will subtract a rational term, then the roots will be different. So we say that when t is greater than 0, roots are real and distinct. This is, the word is also a synonym of different. Means you can use different in place of distinct. So this is roots are real and different, means two different roots. And when d is less than 0, just now I explained that if there is a negative value under the root, it is not possible. So we will say that roots are not real, or we also use the word imaginary. Sometimes you will see the word used as imaginary. So roots are not real and imaginary. So depending upon the value of d, we may get these three different types of roots. When the value of d is 0, roots are always equal, that is for sure. If the value of d is greater than 0 or it is positive, then the roots will always be real and will be different. If d is less than 0, you know that those are imaginary numbers, under the root negative will never exist. Therefore, the roots are imaginary. Now these three things, something which we discussed, is also called as nature of roots. This comes under nature of roots. So sometimes we get questions based on nature of roots also. So the questions based on quadratic formula and nature of roots I will discuss in the next video to come. Alright. So for the time being, go through this video and then find out whatever is your difficulty, come back and discuss it in the class. Thank you.